there, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to Godly Living with Fulu. And of course, I am Fulu. Without wasting your time, let us go into the point of this video, the topic of discussion for today. Okay, so since the death of Her Royal Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, a lot of people have been angry about the history of Africa, especially the colonial era. A lot of people from my country in Nigeria, they are angry about the role of Britain in the civil war that happened some years after Nigeria gained independence in 1960. Now, the point of this video is not to defend colonialism. Come on, there is nothing good about it. The point of this video is not even to defend slave trade, slavery. There is nothing good about it. There is nothing good about making people, other human beings like you, your slave, like you are totally in control of their life and taking their will, taking everything from them, practically taking their life. There is nothing cool about that. But as we're getting so emotional and as we're getting caught up in some blame game, blaming the Britain, especially the British monarch, for the underdevelopment that Africa is going through, blaming them for a lot of things that are not even their fault, it is important for us to like step back a little bit, look at some critical things, and maybe when we understand our history, maybe when we understand the reason the things that happened had to happen, maybe then we'll be able to move on. My people used to say something that when we are crying, we should also be saying. So as you're getting angry with England, you're getting angry with France, you're getting angry with Germany, you're getting angry with other world powers, especially those that colonized Africa, it is important for us to also take our own fault. It is important for us to also take responsibility for some things that we did wrong. Now, if you're a student of history, you don't even need to have like a degree or something in history. You just need to know your story. You just need to know where you're coming from, maybe your tribe or your ethnic group, where you're coming from. You'll see that they also did what the English people did to us. You'll see that they also did to fellow Africans what the French people or the Germans, what they did. It was already happening here in Africa. It's not like the Europeans just came into Africa and they did something that has never been done before. No, right here in Africa, before the invasion of the Europeans, there were slaveries. As a matter of fact, right here in Africa, you will see that a lot of families built their wealth on the back of slavery. Just like the European people too, they took some African slavery and they took them over there to their country. So the question is, why? Why are we making noise as if they did something that has never been done before? Now, the question we should also be asking ourselves is, why was it not too difficult for them to invade Africa and to make us prisoners, to take our resources, to take everything from us? Now, still go back to your own local history. You will see that, as a matter of fact, the land that you are calling the land of your ancestors may not actually belong to your ancestors. Go and check history. You will see some people leaving their own local area. You will see some people leaving their own land to go to other places because of war, because of different things that happen to them, but most especially war. And you will see that there are some communities that actually became an extension of other communities. Like there is one right here, like they're not even close, but you will see that the king of one town is reigning over another village. They were not even close, but somehow they saw that place as part of their territory. Just like the European nations extended their territories to Africa, other African nations were already doing the same thing before those people came. You will see some people from the north trying to invade the south, trying to dominate them, trying to impose their own culture on them. So it is not like it was something that has never been done before. And this should tell you that even these English people that we are so angry with, the people from the UK that we're angry with the British monarch system. You see that the monarch came to be as a result of bloodshed, as a result of war. So fighting other people to take their territory is not something that started yesterday or that started in the last century. It has always been a part of the human race. Now, in Africa, the reason we are crying actually is because we are at the receiving end of this. You know, sometimes I get angry that while other nations of the world, while they were growing, like developing, evolving, Africa was just there. We were still killing twins. We still believe that twins were evil. We still believe a lot of superstitions that have no place in the modern world now. We're still doing a lot of things that we're not even proud of now. We are still making fellow Africans our slave because we have more money, or because we have more might than them, or because our kingdom was greater than them. You will see that we are crying today now not because we are better than the Europeans. We are crying today because we were weak then, and right now we are still weak. That is the reason we're crying. I strongly believe that had it been that Africans too grew in power, like in technology, like there was technological advancement in Africa too back then, especially in the 17th, 18th century, Africans would have tried to make slaves out of the Europeans too. It is not like we don't like slave too. We do it here. Slavery was a trade here. There was a market for slavery here. And it was that market that the Europeans, the Americans, it was that market that we provided, that they banked upon. So it is not like maybe they did something that was so strange to us. Had it been that we had the means, that we had the strength, that we had the technological advancement, and we could actually cross the Atlantic, we would have done the same thing that they did. We are not better than them, morally speaking, but we did not because we were weak. And now I am now thinking again that what if some world power decide to still conquer Africa again? Are we strong enough to even stand against them, or history will repeat itself on our soil? Somehow I want to believe that international laws were made to protect weaker countries like Africa, because if not, one country from the West will just decide, or even from the East, we just decide that they want our land and they will get it. Because up till now, corruption is so rife that one man will steal the type of money, as in the amount of money that can feed a whole state or a whole region for a year. One man. And somehow we believe that the Europeans are the cause of a problem. No, we gave them opportunities. They had the opportunities because they advanced. They got stronger. They became stronger than us. And our own history showed us that we're not even better than them. If one man from the East could make a fellow African, a fellow black man, a slave from the West, or one man from the West could capture a man from the North and make him his slave, or if somebody from the East could decide that they want to encroach on the land in the West and they fought the people of the West to take their land and they settled their people there, so much that other people that could not stand up to them, and they don't want to die, they don't want to fight and die, they became like their slave. Like a king from the south can decide to be a king from the north too, and then he's just going to choose administrators there and they will be paying tax to him. Now, if we could do that to ourselves, why are we crying that the stronger people did it to us? Now, the thing is, what are we going to learn from this? How are we going to develop from this? These people built system. They have a working system that nobody, no one man could override. But look at this. In Nigeria now, for example, the president of Nigeria can do a lot of things and nobody is going to make, even you can just make noise, you can just shout, but nobody can check him. But now we are saying that it is democracy and we can talk and we can do this, but our president now, if according to our constitution, according to the system that we have, can do a lot of things and get away with it. But look at what happened in America. Look at what happened when Donald Trump lost the election. Look at what happened. One man, he could not take on the whole America because the military, they were not loyal to the president. Their loyalty is to the constitution of the country. It is to America. But in Nigeria, can we say the same thing? If the president of an African country decides that he's not going to go, or he wants to win election by crook or by means, is he not going to win? Let's be sincere. So the truth is, we are the root of our own problem. This being that when they were growing in military strength, when they were advancing technologically, when they were gaining knowledge and everything, I didn't mean that we too were growing. Had it been that we too were developing ourselves the way they did, colonization would not have happened to us. But it happened because we were weak, and we are still weak now. Now look at this. America was colonized. China was colonized. India was colonized. A lot of nations of the world were colonized. They fought for their independence, and they didn't sit back and start blaming other people for their woes. No, they grew. And now we want to go there. Now, those people, somehow, they know that they have lost a lot of resources, a lot of lives, a lot of manpower to slavery. They know that they've lost a lot of time. And somehow, now they're taking charge of their own destiny. They are not sitting down, playing the blame card, like blaming other people for their problems. They are tackling their problems. And they are advancing in technology, in knowledge, in science, in a lot of things, in art, in music. They are advancing so much now that they are competing with the people that ruled over them in the past. So Africans, let us do the same thing. All nations of the world, looking at the human history, all nations of the world, we are all victims. UK, US, France, Germany, Portugal, all of them. Even China, India, all nations, all countries of the world are victims of colonization in one way or the other. We are all victims of one calamity or the other. Like even this British monarch that a lot of people are talking about today, a lot of life went down there. Like a lot of fights, a lot of war to keep the crown where it is today. Nobody is going to hand you success or prosperity on a platter of gold. You have to fight for it. They fought for theirs, and now we have to fight for our own. I know that a lot of people will be like, we'll just look at this country now, and sometimes when we look at their history, when we study their history, we'll see that they don't look like what they have been through because they have worked hard. But somehow we are looking like what we have been through. Number one, because our history is somehow still recent. Like it is easy for you to know, like to study Nigeria, some of Nigeria history. Like it is so easy to know that Nigeria gained independence in 1960. You know, these things are still very recent. They are very fresh. That is the reason we are still making noise. But all these countries too, America had to fight for its independence. Look at Israel, they had to fight too. The whole nation of Israel was almost wiped off the face of the earth. But today, you see the way they are fighting. They are fighting hard. They are fighting strong. You can't just come to Israel now and want to do anything anyhow. They are going to take you down because they moved forward. They didn't settle for less, because they didn't settle for crumbs. As long as corruption, as long as greed, and as long as selfishness continue to thrive in Africa, and as long as we refuse to get a working system, a system that is going to be stronger than our leaders, we are going to continue to be at the back. We are going to continue to be a developing nation. And God help us if any of the superpowers in the world now decide to take us over. We can't challenge them as much as we should because our growth has been slow. So it is time for us to stop the blame game. Let us rise and let us grow. Let us take the ashes and build something that the coming generation will be proud of. Nobody is going to hand it over to us. We are going to need to fight for it. And remember what they say, that Africans are not innocent too. Nobody is innocent. We are all victims of one thing or the other. So thank you so much for watching this video. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Till I come your way again, this is Godly Living with Fulu, and I am Fulu. Do take care of yourself, continue to keep safe, and remember that Jesus loves you passionately. Bye.